Well, it's a hearty good morning to all of you sporting fanatics and welcome to it, your World Sports Betting Morning Betting Show. A new face on the show this morning. Can't let the lads have all the fun alone. And besides, I think Ashley needed a long-awaited sabbatical. It was self-imposed, wasn't it? He's working on his swing and, of course, there's some fantastic racing that's going to get underway out in Durban. So he's going to enjoy that, you lucky fish. And I'll try and hold down the fort for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Plenty to talk about this weekend. You know that this is the show that really sets the scene for a busy weekend of sporting action. As always, we'll talk horse racing today and then an exciting poker tournament. Gary will tell us all about that. We've got our big competition, our EPL predictor as well, and we'll talk football with Terry. Australian racing, we'll get the live action over there, and then there's rugby. Remember, we're into the semi-finals of Super Rugby cricket. Plenty drama all across the globe, and other sports if there is time allowing, before of course we head on back to some racing action, and then we'll give you a couple of bets as well for the rest of the weekend. So it's going to be another exciting edition of the show with these individuals here, familiar faces whenever it comes to it. So it's a very good morning to all of the gents over here, but let me start off with a very well-traveled individual who's part of the show. Yeah, where have you been so far?
Gee, I've been up to Kruger's, I think everyone knows, but I've learned a few things. I've been to the Kruger now probably about 40 times, if not more. All right, so I've always thought that those signs on the side of the road, lollipop signs where it says 120, was maximum speed. But someone's pointed out to me, you get passed all the time because you sit on the speed limit on cruise control. That's a minimum speed. I've now worked it out it's a minimum speed because I did not pass one person on the road. Everyone went past me, giving me wind burn. I had burn marks on the side of my car. And then I got lucky enough for my GPS. I'm proud of this GPS in my car, but I can't work it. So now I've been to go through White River to get to Hazyview, okay? So now I get to it says no, turn right. I'm just saying, I'm just telling people if they're going up there.
That's very interesting, Rob.
I went through a little town, I don't know what it's called, but they must have had a competition on Saturday morning. Who can drive the slowest? I've never been through a town in my life where you're doing 2 kilometres, you go over a speed bump. Now the taxis, so they don't hit the bottom, but they're about that much clear, they crab over it sideways. But now the opposition taxi's coming the same, he's crabbing. So they're just straight into each other. So,
they're 4x4s, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, geez, I went 2 kilometres and then they must have had the stupidest hat competition in that town because there was lots of contenders, I promise you. It was quite entertaining, drive up and back, but anyway, good fun. Saw lots of leopard, which was very interesting, and had a great time. My arms right arms a lot stronger.
Yeah. How's your shingles?
You still got it, eh? Sore, eh?
Still got.
How did your right arm get stronger? Do I not go with you?
A couple of refreshments up there. Yeah. No, he's still very nice.
All right,
great
awesome.
Part of the world. Great part
fantastic,
of the world.
fantastic. Terry, how's the week been?
Yeah, I've been quiet. Just
geez, here we go again.
2 games of golf, and that's about it. But television's okay.
Is it?
So yeah, well, the swimming's been good.
Masters, what's the seniors golf?
Seniors golf, cool. They were battling down there.
How's that weather yesterday?
Shocking, and the day before.
Yeah.
But and then we had the Porsche Open, of course. Don't know if you've been watching that. They've had so much rain there. It's been unbelievable over the last 2 weeks in Germany. And then, of course, we had the cricket. But, of course, we'll get on to that a little later on,
exactly,
won't we?
Yeah, we'll try and hold up a little bit in terms of the cricket, in particular what's happening out at Lord's. But we'll give you all of the latest details there. But top of mind certainly has to be horse racing. Morning.
Morning. We had a fantastic week up in the studio and promoting all the big races coming up this week and the Saturday and Sunday racing. We know we got the World Sports Champion Cup today, which is a fantastic race, and a lot of the champions are lined up from the July and all the others. And obviously the Gold Cup tomorrow, so we've got a bumper weekend of horse racing locally. And we've got 2 fantastic races in Belmont that we're going to tip on this morning.
Fantastic. All right, so all of the focus domestically definitely on what is happening out at Greyville, and hence Ashley is out there as well, checking out the action.
Alistair,
that's right, yeah.
Yeah, no, Alistair's out in Greyville, yeah. I think he's going to do under starters orders this morning. And yeah, he's getting all the information for us. So I'm keen to listen to the show and see what he's got to offer as well.
All right, so all of the festivities of what is going to be happening out at Greyville, of course, getting underway this particular Thursday, Gary, and it was very nice to see different sporting personalities as well getting involved there, the likes of Nick Mallet here. We had, who else was out? We had our Comrades Marathon winner as well, Ubong Musam Tembu, Darren Buckley.
Yeah, look, it's a huge day, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's the truth. I mean, besides the two main races, a couple of other Group 1s as well.
Yeah, correct.
You know, where the two-year-old Group 1s finish off the season today.
Correct.
Hopefully it might be a Group 2, I'm not sure, Dom.
Yeah, you won one of the Group 1s on the...
Yeah, well, I had a good trainer. It was easy. And, you know, the frightening thing is Dom and I won the Group 1. And when I looked at the picture last night when I got home, first of all, you know that it was in 2009.
Correct, yeah.
8 years ago. I mean, time just flies so quickly. That's why, you know, you've got to get on and have your bets early because, you know, next time you turn around and you're too old to punch, you know what I mean? That's why I punt every day, at least 20 bets a day, you know? I don't want to run out of bets before I run out of time.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about, of course, the Champions Cup and what it is that you can look forward there. Dom, take us through it.
Yeah, the Champions Cup's a fantastic race, as I said earlier on. Marin Naresco and Captain America are the two top ones in the race, and it's David versus Goliath. Marin Naresco is a small little fella, and Captain America is one giant of a horse. My selection in this race is I'm going with Captain America. I think he's been prepped especially for this particular race. My only concern with Marin Naresco is that he came off a hard race in the July, and it's not always easy to come off a hard race like the July and a couple of weeks later
What about
take
the
on
draw
another.
for him?
Yeah.
The draw also, he's drawn...
He's drawn 12.
Yeah, drawn 12.
Yeah, look, last year he won it.
Yeah,
He won this
they
particular
tucked him in,
race.
didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, but I just think this year he's had a hard race.
Is that
in
a front
July.
runner, Captain America? Likes to make his own running, doesn't he?
He's a strong front runner, and he can come from just off the pace. But when he hits the front, they all got to pick up to try and catch him. He doesn't
He's
stop.
got a great
yeah.
stride on him.
He's got a lot of stamina, and and he keeps going. Yeah, but there's one other filly in the race, the grey filly, Bella Bella, which is the dark horse in the race. And they say if that particular
Or the
filly,
light horse.
I don't know. Yeah, look,
Dark
she-
grey.
Oh, she's definitely the light horse there,
She
right?
won well, didn't
she's
she?
a lot.
That race on July Day, she played with them, didn't she?
That to me is the main thing.
Yeah.
That all these, I agree with Dom exactly what you say, right? Those horses that ran on July Day, I think are going to suffer a lot today, and that's why I picked Captain America to be a hard horse to beat. However, Bella Bella's run on July Day. Was it nothing more than
It's
a gallop?
a
gallop,
That was a
yeah.
gallop
She played with
exercise,
them, and if she
yeah.
reproduces that today, she'll make those Colts and Geldies run a little bit, huh?
Most definitely. And last year in the July, we do remember that Bella Bella was favourite for the July. She was just about favourite for the July, and she put up a game performance. She's a better filly this year, and this is her trip, I think.
This is her swan song as well. Surely
Yeah.
she's off to stud.
Yeah, I think that's what the story is, that she's going to start after this.
She's going to make a hell of a brood mare.
Oh.
If you think about the mares that have gone to stud this year, some of them that are coming out of Sean's yard and everything as well, you know, there are going to be some really
Carry On
well-bred.
Alice.
Carry On Alice,
Correct.
Trophy Wife.
They all,
You know, Bella Bella coming down from Snaithfield. There are going to be some amazing foals born next. When they'll be born next year, right?
next year.
Yeah.
It will.
The foals will be born
the following year. Yeah, 9 months.
Yes,
11
they'll be
months. 11 months for the horse.
Yeah. And then they'll come out in 2 years' time as yearlings. But I'm saying they'll be
Correct,
born
yeah.
next year. You
Yeah.
know? But yeah, what a race this is going to be. I'm really looking forward to that. Another one that I've got in my swingers. I don't know what you think
Black
about
Arthur?
that. Sure.
So much
They rate
talk
him
about
so
him.
highly,
Yeah.
but I mean, he just doesn't seem to produce on the big days, Black Arthur. I think it's my turn's got a chance. Because I think in the July, why would Straydom stay on it? You know what I mean? He could have had it must have given him some feel in the July. No, I mean, it was a poor July. But
Yeah, well, I think he wanted to ride something else. You know, Pierre, he looks for 5 different rides, and whatever he comes up with.
They say this is probably the strongest this has been, this particular race, for a long time.
This is a strong race, and I think if you're looking beyond Captain America and Marin Naresco and Bella Bella, you're looking for spooks. There's nothing else that can beat them, in my opinion. But I'm going to go with Captain America. I think Brett's done a wonderful job with him. He's prepped ideally for this particular race, and everything's gone very well for him. So
Everything he's touched has turned to gold this year, isn't it?
he's had a wonderful season.
Hasn't he? Yeah.
He's had a super season, and I think it's Marin Naresco. Obviously, he's a great horse. Take nothing away from him, but my opinion, as a former trainer,
Yeah.
I just think he's had a hard July with the 60 kilos winning that particular race. he's going to have his work cut out to win this race. Captain America looks to me the right horse. Bella Bella, the danger.
Can I ask you a question? Sorry about that. Do
Certainly.
you think that... Thank you, Terry.
It's got all right.
You actually remind me of a principle that I had, actually. You know what I'm saying? It's right. Do you think that the time's coming where Brett will start challenging Sean for the Trainers' Championship?
I don't think in the next season you'll get close to Sean, but I think after that he's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with.
He's a great trainer and he's got a great stable. Take nothing away from Sean. Sean, in my opinion, is the best trainer in the country.
Top class.
And he's proven it year after year, you know. But I think that there's going to be a little bit more...
How many horses would
to-
somebody like Brett Crawford have at the moment in training? Roughly.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think Sean's got at least 250, in my opinion.
Really?
Where-
Is that two stables?
No, it's
one here and one there.
No, he used to have a stable up in KwaZulu-Natal, but not anymore. I think he's moved all the horses down to Joburg, but he must have a half of Randjesfontein, the barns in Randjesfontein.
Because I had a horse, I had no chance. He won with it before me down in Durban, you know.
It's an honour to have him train for you, you know what I mean? That's the truth, you know what I'm saying? I mean...
You can't take anything, although he's got the firepower behind him.
Yeah,
He's
sure,
still got to
mate.
deliver at
Yeah,
the end
of
of the
course.
day, and Sean's delivered without...
Well, there's the extra pressure there.
Yeah.
Just having to deliver.
Correct, yeah, and especially when you've got the big names behind you. So that's
right.
that's the pressure. But going back to Brett Crawford, I think in 2 or 3 seasons' time he's filling up quickly,
well.
and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
All right. Well, there's a reason that this show is so important for all of you, because obviously I was going to go with all of the hype from the July Marinaresco, but interesting that you're talking about Captain America. Racing as well out in Australia?
Yeah, in Australia we're gonna tip on two races in particular, the second and the third at Belmont. Last week we had a 5-1 winner,
Yeah,
so
well
the
done,
guys
Don.
are all
Well
happy.
done.
We beat the 8-10 favourite. This week there's not much value. I'm going to go with 2 favourites today, and I suggest the guys lump on with a double and a single bet. And if they don't run in the first 4, obviously they're going to get their money back. The first one is we're going to go with more aces. James Brown's the jockey, drawn well. His barrier trials were top class. Yeah, his form's consistent. I think he's going to be hard to beat. More aces. Are we going to chat about the second and the third race? We got Rosewood Hill. William Park again. You know William Park. He's always delivered
Your
for us.
favourite man.
My favourite man at the moment. Yeah, it's short, but I think the double will work out with a decent price with World Sports Betting. So I think the guys must lump on the double.
I think we get about 3-1. the double.
3-1. Our strike rate's been over 50%,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
the
yeah.
guys can't complain. So we're going to take a double today, and we're going to hope for both of them to win.
Just because they can't complain doesn't mean they don't complain.
No,
They don't.
a punter always complains. There's no two ways about that.
All right, Dom, thank you so much for his expertise this morning. We're going to be getting into all of the action, into the racing very shortly. But first, a very short break. Stay right where you are with us right here on your World Sports Betting Morning Betting Show.
Here are the big poker tournaments coming up. Of course, proudly brought to you by Empress Palace, Queen 10 and Shuffle Up Poker. Look at these dates, 13th of October until the 21st of October. The WPT Empress Palace Poker Classic. Buy-ins are from free to 40,000 Rand, but that's not all. We're not too far away from the Graceland Poker Series, starting on the 10th of August and running through to the 13th of August. The main event for 10,000 Rand. Then the KZN Poker Series in beautiful Richards Bay from the 15th to the 19th of November at the Umfolozi Casino. Visit www.queen10.com or contact Candice at shuffleuppoker.com, and that number 078-611-8355. All the poker coming up, proudly brought to you by Empress Palace, Queen 10 and Shuffle Up Poker.
Oh, we've done a shuffle here in studio of our very own Liam joining us now. Very good morning, Liam.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Welcome. Yeah. So plenty on the poker scene as well, Gary. It's some exciting tournaments on the horizon. Of course, the marquee event in October. But before that, we've got so many others to keep us entertained.
Well, we go to Graceland in 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
That's also, like I said, time goes quickly. We're just preparing for the first Graceland in
How far
January.
is that flight, Gary?
To Graceland.
Yeah, I don't
Memphis, Tennessee.
You can't even,
Well, you're talking about your drive to the Kruger. You should make it to Graceland.
it's in Sasolburg. It's a driver and a 3-wood from here. You drive
He's
there
got
in,
Elvis in his mind.
you drive there in 55 minutes.
Bless my soul.
How did you think we're going all the way to...
Yeah, I thought you'd gone international. Well done, Gary.
Yeah. No. Look, they speak another language there. They speak Afrikaans. But I mean, it's still not an international flight or anything, you know.
Okay.
Different currency as well.
It's a 55-minute drive from OR Tambo.
Oh, nice.
You know, unless you're getting chased by the cops, and it's about a 35-minute drive from OR Tambo. You know?
Do you have an international contingent maybe coming out?
Not for that one, but
yeah?
definitely for the one at Empress Palace in October.
yes.
We've got already probably 25 internationals confirmed there.
Wow.
And then we go back to KZN, to Umfolozi for their second one in November. We had the first one there earlier this month. So it is a very busy time, it really is. But it's all fun and it gives a punter something else to do. One thing's for sure, all the poker players are there punting on sport and racing as well, aren't they, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, it's good. I mean, it gets teletrack play throughout the casinos and everything.
Yeah.
I think that for gaming to succeed, it needs a marriage of all of them. There's no jealousy or this one's better than that. You all have a bit of fun, and wherever you're better and wherever you succeed better at, do that, right?
Any seats left at Graceland?
Yes, there are a few. And the fun enough, not too many rooms. People want to get into Graceland, they do need to make the call next week to my office. Probably 4 to 6 rooms left.
Okay.
You know, you know all that happens. You know what I mean. And you're right, Rod. Because when people don't book rooms on time, all that happens is I feel bad when VIPs phone, and I end up sleeping in guest houses that don't have running water. So please book the room so we can book in time. You know?
You've been warned. You've been warned in time. Terry, for us and the football season, we've also got, what, 2 weeks to go before it all gets
a couple of weeks
started?
away, aren't we? There, everybody's preparing. They're all in America and China and Singapore. They're all over the world, aren't they? Except for now that they've come back. Well, Arsenal have come back anyhow. They've got the Emirates Cup. I think they've got it. They played Benfica today. But again, I think they play tomorrow, so it's going to be very careful when it comes to betting, because half the size, you know, they're juggled about and they'll play half a team today and half a team tomorrow. You know, be careful when you bet. But you know, Arsenal, I expect them to get through Benfica against Benfica. They've travelled well. They've done reasonably well on their travels, except when they faced Chelsea, of course, who give them a bit of a hammering. But otherwise it's all preparation at the moment. They're still well into preparation, but now they'll come back to base and they'll really get down to some hard work.
Yeah, talking about the preparations, I mean, how important of an indicator is it? If you look at the friendly competitions, if you look at the touring as well, how big of an indicator is it of what we can expect?
There's some thinking that, you know, what they're doing now isn't really the best way to prepare for a season, purely because of the distance they travel. But we all know why they're doing it. It's financially. It's
for the
they
fans.
Get paid absolute buckets. And as you've seen when they've been on their travels, 80,000 in America, you know, 80,000 in Australia, you know, in Singapore and all these. You know, it's absolutely incredible. When you look at it, you think you're looking at an English crowd. In actual fact, you're in China and all these
Sell
other
a few
places.
Shirts, Terry, and merchandise. And
Absolutely
stuff.
right. So it's a magic, you know, money spinner. But at the end of the day, we don't believe it's the best preparation because of the travel. Although they're travelling comfort, but it's a lot of travelling to do. But they do get back early enough, and they're cut back slightly on what's needed in terms of the physical side. The thing is, the difference compared to our day is that we had to more or less stay at home and do a lot of long running because of what was coming up in January, February, you know, with the heavy grains, the mud. They don't get that anymore. So preparation is entirely different to my day, when really we had to put in real hard graft and do cross-country runs and things like that, purely from the stamina point of view. If you missed pre-season in our day, you never caught up with it at all during the season. The grains were so bad. Physically, you had to be able to prepare for it. So now, the way it is now, it is a different ball game altogether.
Yeah.
Terry, I had a guy at Pellabora. I went up to Pellabora for a day, and he wanted me to ask you a question. He came up to me in the supermarket and he said, ask Terry 2 questions. The first question was, is the tea paying you online selling sovereigns?
No.
No? Okay, I just want to clear that. There's some blokes trying to sell sovereigns. You got paid in sovereigns, didn't you?
In the old days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He wasn't sure. Second question was from the guy in the supermarket. He wants a winner or to tell him which side has bought the best to make them more competitive when they were last year.
Sure, that's great. I mean, it's not all over yet. That's the problem. So you've got to look at somebody like Manchester City who's bought £203 million worth of player.
But what have they bought?
Yeah, and that's why, and we've looked at it again, and here's the betting. You know, they're 37-20, Man United 33-10. I still think Chelsea. I think it's Chelsea at 69-20, just over 3-1. Tottenham, as you were saying, haven't bought anybody, lost a real good right back.
Yep.
They got to play at Wembley. Would they be slipping slightly down the mark? Arsenal, we're not sure about what's going to happen there. You've got Sanchez who may or may not stay for another season. Oxlade-Chamberlain, they talk about him might be moving on. So I think they've got that about right.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Because I need more help, right? Just to tip a winner's easy.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, but so your guy in Pelabora is taking too easy on you, too. But at the end of the day, we got WSB that have sponsored a competition, right?
Yeah.
The winners go to the Champions League final. There it is. You know what I'm saying? All you have to do, and it's free. The more bets you have with WSB, the more free entries you get. I took my first one last night.
Yeah.
So it all seems so easy that. I mean, there it all goes. I mean, I don't know if you want to go through that.
All-inclusive trip. So it's the Champions League final, which is next year, and it's happening in Ukraine, in Kiev. But the good thing here is that there's also some consolation prizes of 20,000 Rand and 10,000 Rand in betting vouchers.
Well, it's an interesting concept, isn't it? I mean, I could say, right, the top six. I could sit here and probably say, well, there's only six that can win it. But of course, then you've got to pick them out in order to get it right. But it's a fabulous competition,
Brilliant.
And as Rod was saying, who's done the best in the marketplace and where we go. But I don't think it's over yet. And you might laugh. I think one of the best buys for a side I think might be better this year. Not quite sure if they can get into the top six. Is Everton. I think Rooney going to Everton, I think is a fabulous sign. I really do. And he's gone there virtually for nothing. I think he's as good a sign. And if you look to boosting a team, I think he.
And he's got a point to prove, Terry.
I'm not sure if he has.
He didn't play much last year, did he?
No, that's the problem. And if he wants to, I'm not sure if he wants to get back in the England side, but he will be a permanent fixture this season. But there's so many others, and as I said, it doesn't finish till August the 31st, whatever it is.
The thing with Rooney is he may not score many goals for them, but he's a good fit for the club.
Absolutely right. He's gone back to a club where he's come from. I mean, we've been watching him there since he's 16 years of age. I mean, I just don't think he's got the credit he should have done at Man United, and yet he's their top goal scorer, 250-odd goals. Incredible.
All right, so maybe this will be the season.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Bert in Pelabora.
Chelsea. I've gone for Chelsea, and I've gone for Middlesbrough. I've took the double. That's what I've taken. I'm just worried about Middlesbrough.
Then why'd you take the double?
Purely worried that they're going to sell their best defender. That's what I'm worried about, Ben Gibson.
All right, we'll continue this conversation because still plenty more signings that I expected. I know there's been a lot of talk about Man United and one or two big announcements that are pending. But for now, it's time for us to head on to race 2 in Belmont, so enjoy.
Three wide moving up Australian Venture from Brady and Me. Riaton Road and Fast Fella would want to get a move on. 700 metres to go. Represent a half length to Crawfish. 2 to King Ludwig, followed by Campanology. Then Australian Venture, followed on the inside there, moving forward as Brady and Me. Riaton Road and Fast Fella coming to the outside, but still 6 or 8 from the pace, which is set by Repossessed, a half to Crawfish, followed then about 3 away by King Ludwig. Back on the inside as Brady and Me. Fast Fella getting to the outside and running on Australian Venture. No Riaton Road and Campanology has dropped out in the straight. Repossessed in front, grabbed by Crawfish, coming down the outside as Fast Fella and also King Ludwig, but Crawfish sprints to the lead. Fast Fella closing late. Crawfish in front. Too good. Beat Fast Fella a length. Repossessed is held on for third. Followed then by King Ludwig, Brady and Me. Australian Venture, Riaton Road and Campanology has dropped to the tail of the field.
Crawfish home for Darren Evans at 13.10 and 3.20 from a mile back. Fast Fella for second at 1.40. Repossessed third at 2.10, 3, 2 and 1. 4 called home for fourth. There's one to come at Roma. Second event at Belmont sees number 2, More Aces as the favourite. Good strike rate. It's won 5 of 11. And third up for this off a last start second here at the Belmont 1200 behind a Night of Pro after leading. 2.70 fixed, $3 on the tote.
Yeah, it's look, had support throughout the day. 3.60 into as low as 2.10, back to 2.80. They're backing Belter late for the Parnham, Stephen Parnham, who rides for the Casey team.
We'll join Darren in a sec. Let's get your numbers out for race 8 at Doomben, which will follow. Good little race. And Savaro on top tone, number 6.
Yeah, the Novocastrian up from Chris Lee's stable there, and she didn't get too much of a go at Rose Hill last time out. She was climbing behind Hills there, behind Washington Heights and Sir Plush and Company. So bit more luck today with Gate 3. I thought she'd give it a shake. She's our top pick. 6, 7, 4 and 1. 7 is Punta Norte. He'd go forward, I'd say, from the wide gate. I think you get a run for your money there. Ins and Outs, another Southern Raider, going okay, coming out of the Washington Heights race. Oxford Poet looks like he'd lead. And Kim Moore just sent out the winner in Sydney. The Winter Challenge might be able to send one out up there in Brisbane.
Jim Byrne ride here, Ins and Outs, very, very well back, 380 to 340.
And that race will follow the second at Belmont as we join Darren.
Thanks, Marto, and here we're waiting on a couple to move up into the gates. Big cheerio to a team of avid racing fans, and you know them well. Adam Hamilton, Adrian Dunn, Mark Guest and Gareth Hall watching in today on Sky in San Diego, which will never be the same. They're right to go. Racing. And first to leave deep out on the track, Bell's Tower seemed to anticipate the start beautifully. Pop Hero, though, began quickly, and so did More Races, who's going to burn them off. More Races in front of Pop Hero. Belter third, now easing back after the start, Bell's Tower. And then Atacama Sky, who they've had a really good go at long prices. 2 Silver Trees, and snag back last of all is Agachar Cruise. 600 left to travel, and More Races will bring them up to the home corner for Brown. More Races on top, a length and a half clear. Pop Hero ridden up closer and handy to the speed outside Belter. They're followed around them, then on the outside next of all by Bell's Tower at the top of the home straight, followed further back Agachar Cruise. More Races in front though, and took them to the 250, 2.5 in front of Pop Hero. Belter battling away, then came Atacama Sky, starting to run on, but More Races had shaken them off at the 100-metre mark, and he looked home. Atacama Sky is starting to run on very strongly with 2 Silver Trees, but too good for the More Races, did it all of the way. More Races beat Atacama Sky, 2 Silver Trees. Not much in it for the minor spot. Behind those there in the middle, Belter, Agachar Cruise, Pop Hero. Well, they rode him up there nice and handily, but he didn't come on at all in the straight, and back there towards the rear is Bell's Tower.
Behind the favourite, More Races winning at $2.90 and $1.90. Very close for second. calmest skies. The one on the outside, the grey on the inside is 2 silver trees, really close. Leave it as 2 and a photo between the 5 and the 8, and we'll confirm it after this.
All right, so there you have it, a winning bet from Dom. You're listening carefully this morning, yeah?
Yes, it was, yeah. I mean, never in doubt, was it? Start to finish, that's what we like. I say favourite should win.
Well, if you're taking the double, now you've got 3 to 1 with the odds on favourite. It's 5 to 10 on. I think it was about there,
7 to 10, yeah.
7 to 10.
Yeah. Domino Bomb strikes again.
Yeah,
He's a machine.
Yeah.
When he phoned me last night, he said to me, Gary, I'm begging you, start following my tips with more sort of aggression. I said, why? Dom, he said, I guarantee you 5 out of 6 winners for every 6 tips you give you. I'll have at least 5 winners. So he said, with more aggression. So when I got on now, I was hitting the computer much harder than before.
It worked next week, don't you?
No, it worked well, you know what I'm saying?
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much, Dom. All right, so we said plenty that is happening this weekend. I know a lot of focus on Super Rugby today, Liam. Yeah. Big one.
You sound nervous, and the Lions should be probably as well. No, look, it's a wonderful occasion. They obviously haven't hosted a Super Rugby semi-final. If they get through this one, there's the prospect of a final. And that in itself, I hope all of you will go next week if they make it through.
I'll say this: if they win, I'll go next week. I promise you I will.
I don't know. If they win, they're home, aren't they?
Yes, they were top of the log, and they've got rights to.
Okay. You know, I'm just thinking if they win today, which is obviously fairly likely, well, good chance.
Possible.
And the unlikely event that happens in New Zealand and the Chiefs win. And Terrier's complaining about the travelling they do with soccer, you know. They go from London to Wales, from Wales to Italy. All takes an hour and a half. The Chiefs flew from New Zealand last week to South Africa, back to New Zealand this week. And if they win and the Lions win, they have to come back here. There's more travelling than the entire England football side will do the whole year, you know.
Absolutely. And the worst part of that was like they played the Stormers, so the worst part of that travel was the flight probably from Cape Town to Joburg. I mean, that is just a killer. Yeah, that's before you fly from Joburg to Sydney and Sydney to Christchurch.
That's got to be a 20 hour odd, must be, because it's 14 hours to Sydney, then you've got to go back to...
And also you arrive just before midnight in New Zealand, so your body clock is just all over the place.
9 hours, isn't it?
But yeah, I'm definitely going to Ellis Park if they win today. And I haven't been there since Dani Gerber scored against, it wasn't even, in the first time we played the All Blacks there, yeah?
92.
Yeah.
First time we played the All Blacks.
You haven't been there since.
I went there once.
I'll give you the address when...
I know where it is. I went there once after that, right? And I backed the All Blacks. I went in 95 to the final. Then I went one other time. I backed the All Blacks. And what happened is I started to shout for the All Blacks.
Oh dear.
And 150 Oaks looked at me. And I watched the last 80 minutes in my car listening on the radio. Okay, I took off that black jersey.
If you'd have done that in English soccer, sat amongst some of those and you shouted.
And I did
Neil did that once. He jumped up. He was watching Tottenham play Leeds United.
At Ellen Road? Or?
No, but the ticket he got was in amongst the Leeds supporters, away supporters. And when he jumped up, as he went there, he realised he sat back down because they had just stripped him and thrown him over the top.
That happened to me in 2012. A mate of mine is a Spurs fan, but we went to Anfield, and the ticket he organised was with the Spurs fans.
Yeah.
I'm a Liverpool supporter.
Yeah.
So we worked out literally as we got to the gate that there's no way I could get in.
Yeah.
So thankfully I knew a few people, so I made a call and I sat somewhere
else. Quite
Listen,
right.
I think it'll only be fair that if the Lions do win, this entire team, the entire show has to go out there.
I'll take everybody there. We'll go sit in hospitality.
Combi? Since I'm not going to New Zealand anymore.
It could still happen. It could still happen.
No, the Highlanders can have one.
Oh, well, that was the bet, yeah.
Yeah. So what are the chances, Liam? Yeah.
Well, you've got to go with the Crusaders. The Chiefs have a fantastic record, a recent record against the Crusaders. They've won 4 out of the last 5. They lost the most recent one, which was actually played in Fiji. It was earlier this season. But given the travel, given how the season has unfolded, you've got to go. You'd be very, very brave to go against the Crusaders. There is a chance the Chiefs might pull it off, but it's a remote chance.
All right, so the teams to reach the final, right? Betting on that?
So you're going to go, which final are you going to go to, Leo?
I'm probably leaning more towards the Crusaders Hurricanes.
Lions. Really?
You think they're going to get beaten today?
No, it's a tight one. It's a very tight. If the Lions play to their potential, they'll win this game.
Okay.
I just get a sense that
bogey side, the Hurricanes.
They have
10
been.
out of 11. I think that's so unpatriotic. I think that if the Lions get beaten now,
say that.
you've got to go to Ellis Park tomorrow and sit there by yourself on next Saturday, you know?
But realistically, Gary, look, I'm pulling for the Lions inside. Same as my shingles
Yeah,
are pulling as well.
It's more than that for
But
the
your head?
inside. Yeah.
Eh?
But your head?
Yeah, I didn't have shingles there.
I'm saying, but your head is saying the Hurricanes, yeah?
Yeah. No, well, my heart's with the Lions because
Yes.
I think they've done a great job and I'd like to see Ackerman go off and I'd like to see him win the final. But that side, when you look at that Hurricanes, and you were telling me the record before the show, they haven't beaten them since when?
2007. The Lions have only beaten the Hurricanes once at Ellis Park.
But it's
Ever.
a different
In
side
07.
now to
It
what
is.
it was in 2007.
And at some point, that
Yeah.
sequence obviously has to be broken.
Sure.
My concern is, if you look at the way the Lions have gone about their business, that June break for the test matches has not served them well at all. So their momentum has been stunted. A lot of their players did very well for the Springboks.
Yeah.
They came back and they haven't quite hit their straps. I mean, they did have
Were
the
they
big
poor
win.
last
They had the
week?
big win
Were
against
they
the
poor
Sunwolves.
last week?
They were.
Very poor.
And good on them that they were still able to pull through.
Exactly. That's the
And
main thing.
that might still sort of work in their favour. But their composure for me is just not what it was early in the season. And with the Hurricanes, you give them half a sniff, they will
Well,
punish
I
you.
looked at the tries. They've scored 90-odd tries and they've scored 84 tries, which
It's
is
the-
more
it's
than
the
they
two
scored last year.
Yeah.
The Lions I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But just that side, if you give them, like you said, an inch, they're going to put points on you, aren't
You've
they?
got the two top try scorers in the competition up against each other today. So as much as they'll be, it's a 2:30 kickoff as well.
Yep.
Dry field, sunny skies. They'll probably have a go at each other,
Yeah.
which will play more into the Lions' favour compared to what they had against the Sharks last week, where they were just spoilers.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the Lions have a chance. They make no mistake. They have they
Big
have a
question-
chance.
The big
but
question
I've just
for me, if I may say, has your wife got free
Certainly.
tickets?
Is who? Your wife got free tickets there?
No.
Because you know what happened when we went home last week and we started talking about free tickets for your wife and whatever? My missus said to me, how come I never get invited anywhere?
No, I think give her free tickets to Nelson Mandela Stadium the next time the Kings play. I mean, you come from that part of the
But you've
world.
got to book a year in advance.
No,
don't
it's not
you?
going to be
It's
easy to get.
sold out.
You're not easy. But I just my analysis of this game is I think that last week the Lions had one eye already on the semi-final. I think that's why they were so poor.
There was fear of
I
failure
don't
last
think
week as well.
They were. I don't think they'll be that poor this week. I think that was their bad game. And I think they'll stand up today. And I believe Yankees is a class rugby player. Anybody that says he chokes talks nonsense. You know, he's a Springbok. If he choked, he would have choked for
What
the
did he miss
Springboks as
last
well.
week? How many did he
4 out of 6.
He missed 4.
Jeez. So the
I mean,
margin
he
could have
kicked
been a
poorly,
lot
but
bigger,
everybody
yeah.
has bad. Did you never end up with Lord for 6
If you look at the law of averages,
I'd
he
be
was
happy
he
with
was
North
due
for
a bad
60
one.
every week. I would have taken
Spread,
that.
spread,
It was due a bad one, and thank heavens that
You got it out
it
of the
didn't
way.
cost them the game. Ruan Combrin.
but the spread's 2.5, eh?
Yeah.
What about the draw at 20-1?
Great.
What would happen? What happens?
Extra time.
Just pure extra
with
time.
those teams, I think all the options are on the table.
100%.
The Lions could beat them by 14, could go the other way. It could be a tight game, but the draw for me is not really a runner.
20-1.
20-1. I mean, if you've got a limited budget, you know what I mean, and you want to watch
100 rand.
you put 100 rand on, you win yourself 2 grand. Is not so bad, right?
Yeah.
That's not too bad. Yeah.
And especially if you're taking Dom the Bombs double and that wins, you can end up, you know, hope you put 100 there, then you got 400, you put that on, you win 8 grand.
Liam, take the emotion out of it. Be honest. I mean, I'm a big Lions fan. I love the way they play in that. My biggest thing that worries me, last year they played the New Zealand sides, right? This year they haven't played the New Zealand sides. I know they're playing at that level. There's no doubt about it. Is that a concern to you?
Yes and no. They can only play what's presented to them.
No,
so, and they
fair
did
comment.
very well. They beat all comers. They did
Yeah.
lose the one game against the Jaguares away.
Yeah.
But they bossed the South African conference. There were no doubts about that.
Yeah.
The Australian opposition, they
were useless.
They wiped
Yeah.
the floor with them, basically. In terms of getting yourself battle ready for a semi-final or any playoff game, they had the Sharks, which in many ways actually was probably ideal in that the Sharks, as bad as they were, will test you. They were physical. They were in their faces the whole time. And in terms of the physical requirements to play a playoff game, I think that is probably as good a prep under the circumstances they could have had. So when it comes to playing a high-tempo game where the other team also has a go, I think the Lions are absolutely up for that. In fact, they'll probably rally ship.
This is my biggest concern. My biggest concern is that Ackerman's had this attitude the whole season, that this is the rugby we play, we'll live and die by it. And I'd rather die playing great rugby than win poor. And I think that's the wrong attitude in knockout competition. I think in knockout competition, it's about getting to the final. And if you go interview...
Even if you grind out the results.
To be fair, though, they started off last week by kicking for the corners. In other words, you still go for the 5-pointers or the 7-pointers. They started missing a few kicks. And they changed their tactics. In other words, they go into the game with a particular mindset, but it's flexible.
Yes, but I thought last week the biggest problem was running it from poor position with slow ball when those big Natal, forwards were waiting for them. You know, I just think today you can't just run all day every day at the Hurricanes. If you make a mistake, you get one. I hope they don't. If they don't, they're proper runners today.
They got punished last season as much as they said in the week that they haven't looked at the league game last week where they lost 50-17 against the Hurricanes at home. They, of course, lost the final 23. They said they didn't look at those games, but there's a lot to learn from those two games because the Hurricanes killed them at the rucks, turnover possession, ran amok. Their kicking game has to be spot on.
And I think the Lions forwards are the type 5, and they've got great loose forwards as well, but the type 5 in particular, that's where they'll dominate if they're going to, am I right?
They need to scrum them off the park.
They have to, exactly.
Where are you putting your money, Gary? You're obviously going to have a bet in the game.
Well, I have to back the Lions because if I have to take all of us to the game next week, I need some money, you know. So I have to, you know what I mean? I have to build up a bankroll for next week. I am going to back the Lions. I already backed them to win the tournaments. I'm involved, but I just think that they got a big chance. I think this is their chance.
It's as big a chance as they've had ever.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk of the earlier semi-final between the Crusaders and the Chiefs, Liam.
Look, for me, the Crusaders will be very, very tough to beat. If you look at last week's game, where a lot of us kind of suggested the Highlanders have a slight chance of going to Christchurch and getting a result, it was a rain-affected game, but there was only one win in that game ultimately, and I suspect the same will happen here. The travel aspect for me is huge. You just cannot, just as a supporter or as a traveling journalist. If you make that journey, you're like a zombie for 3 days.
If you have to go, your article's not up to standard when you travel.
I didn't say that. But it is a slog. It really is. So tough times for the Chiefs in that game, I'm afraid.
I just want to say, I'm very happy, in my opinion, that the top 4 sides are in the semi-final. Let's be honest, you know, the other 4 that participated last week were all below these
as
4.
Poor as the format is, it corrected itself in the end.
Exactly. You know, these are the best 4 sides.
So we were talking about it before, Gary. You're quite excited now. I'm not going to New Zealand, and you're happy to take us across the what's that river called?
Rubicon?
No, not Rubicon. It's in Johannesburg. What's it called?
The Yuxkay.
Yuxkay. So you're happy to take us there to watch the final, hopefully.
We all live on the side of the Yuxkay.
Yeah, we don't have to cross the Yuxkay.
I could reverse and take you. There's a little stream that runs through Ravoga.
Up and down here.
Yeah, I'd love to take us all.
I have to cross it every day.
You do.
Yeah.
I'd love to take us all to Ellis Park next week. We'd have a lot of fun.
You wouldn't get a ticket.
Fingers crossed.
Sold out.
I promise you, I'll get the tickets.
Would you?
You'd get a box.
Yes.
If you say to me, take him to Doornfontein, it's not an actual fontaine, if you know what I mean.
Would you come?
He has to.
Would you come to the rugby?
No, I wouldn't.
Why?
You would?
Hospitality, Terry. I can get you in.
Yeah, there you go.
I've been once. I went to the
Posh seats.
Went to the Lions, the British Lions.
Yeah.
I went to them once.
And?
Never saw the ball once.
Why?
It was always in the scrum. Nothing happened. It's the worst. I sat there.
John Robbie would have been.
A hell of a lot happened in soccer.
What year was this, Terry?
Oh.
About 6 years ago. Horrendous. Worst game I've ever seen.
6 years ago?
Well, I didn't. So then I didn't know what they were doing. I didn't. No. I enjoyed the food and the drink in the box.
But that's part of the fun.
Were you sitting next to Liam's wife?
No, I didn't see her that time.
But who's
Not that time.
What do you think, Rod? 8.5?
Jeez, you know, Crusaders have been good this year, haven't they? They dare lose one game. A lot of people have written them off, which I can't believe. And as Liam said, I mean, he's done the journey. I've never been to New Zealand, almost got there, but not quite. But it was a nice place.
It is. I quite enjoy New Zealand.
If you're saying you've got to travel...
The weather is foul, but once you get past that, good people.
But the flight from there, you said 2 hours, right? You've got to be in the airport. So how long's that flight? You've done it from Joburg.
Well, Joburg, Sydney, you're looking 14 hours.
Correct.
Then there's usually about a 3.5 hour wait in Sydney to get a late flight going into New Zealand. So in other words, you arrive in New Zealand like 1:45 midnight. you only get to your hotel hour and a half later.
So it's got to take a toll.
Yeah, no, you're a zombie for days.
All right, so there you go. He's answered the question. So there's the double, isn't it? It looks. But on the spread, Gary, what's the weather like? I suppose you've got to look at that.
Of course you do, and that we'll see in half an hour when it comes on TV. But I honestly think that the Hurricanes will be tired. And I think that if the Crusaders get on top of them, which I believe they will, I'm not the Hurricanes, the Chiefs, I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
I believe the Crusaders will get on top of them. I believe the last 15 minutes could turn into a festival. You know, it's the end of the season if they're already Chiefs or 10
even
or 12
if it
behind.
is wet, you could still see the
I
Crusaders win
like
by
the
12.
-8.
When did the Hurricanes arrive here?
Their game was last Friday, so that gave them a bit of a head start.
And they waited in Australia.
And they had to wait in Australia, so Sunday
Oh,
afternoon.
in case the
Oh,
result.
they've been
yeah.
here.
Sunday afternoon.
Virtually a
So
week.
But I
then.
see Rennie. Is that the coach's name?
They-
The Chiefs?
the
No, that's
Chiefs,
that
yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
you take for indigestion.
Well, it doesn't work.
you might need some of that later.
Sure, I've tried lots of things in the last week.
I
Yeah.
bet you have.
I've even tried a bottle of gin.
Did you?
Yeah,
That's not bad.
he got the better of me.
You wanted to say?
Oh, he's forgot that.
Rennie, you're talking about
Don't
Rennie.
rush him. Give him time.
Yeah,
Come on, what is it? Come on.
Dave Rennie, the
Yeah, there
coach
you are.
of that, and this is his last season and that.
It is.
You read his article during the week and saying they actually hate each other, Crusaders and them. I know it's a build-up.
No,
to a
there's
game,
bad
whatever.
blood. But what's also happened in the last few years, the Chiefs have had some bad press in that they have been involved in so many off-the-field incidents, like stuff in nightclubs.
Who was the guy doing that thing in the toilet at the airport? Was he from there as well?
No, that's
He's a
Evan Smith.
Highlander.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they've had some bad press off the field, and the New Zealanders are kind of unforgiving about that because they get reminded about it all the time.
Just changing the subject, talking about getting into fights in nightclubs. Did you see the Turkish national coach? Did you not see it?
No, I wasn't there.
Just this week he beat up the proprietor.
Oh, did he?
In the restaurant.
Why?
And now he's lost his job. I don't think he liked the food. And he's had to resign from the national coach's job.
I don't know why he got fired, but the tournament director at the Canadian Open, the Golf Open, he got fired overnight. He won't be there for the weekend.
Why?
In other words,
He missed the cut.
Well, that make
well
that
done.
point. It's unspecified because the officials basically terminated not his contract, but said that he was involved in something. They won't specify what he was
Suspended him.
involved in, and he's gone.
But this guy got fired.
I want to ask you about the golf last week with that Spieth incident where he hit it like way right. And
20
then-
minutes.
Yeah, and then he ended up hitting it from miles back there.
When he went back on, which was a little bit strange because I've always been told
That's out of bounds, surely.
Yeah, you would have thought the practice ground, apparently, from what I've always been told, is out of bounds. You know, if you go onto the practice ground, that's it. But because of line of sight,
the vans and all that.
That's right. The only place he could drop it was there. I mean, it was a remarkable recovery.
I've got a rule that I think they should implement in golf. I think it's too bad if the trucks are there. As long as the trucks were there at the beginning of the week and you're aware of them, they should become a normal obstacle in your way. Because everybody knows it's
You
the same
shouldn't
for
be playing
everybody,
from
right?
there in the first place.
Exactly.
I mean,
There are no trucks on the fairway.
Yeah, but it's the same on the course. If there's a board,
you should be penalised.
I like
you
Jordan.
know that it's there.
I like
gotta get
Jordan
line of
Spieth,
sight.
but he's got a bit of a history, developed a bit of a history where he bullies officials. When his ball goes out of bounds or close to out of bounds, he has a particular way of arguing his point, and some of the guys are intimidated. Now you're arguing with world top 3, top 5 player who's won a couple of majors. They back off.
Can I just ask something? You might be able to help us here with World Sports Betting. Terry was giving his bets last week on the Saturday. You can take this and that finishes after round 2. Is that correct?
Correct,
Bets.
yes.
So all the rubbish you tipped people last week they couldn't take, because I had people phoning me and saying, we've gone on to take the bet, you can't take it after round 2.
Let me tell you, can I just,
Is that true?
Yes, can I just
Thank
tell you
you.
something else what Terry did to me at golf once? Once we've changed the subject. So he's on a cart, right? And he starts in front of us on the senior tees. So we all hit, and Terry and I are near each other. He gets in his cart, he rushes up to the ball, Gary, you there. So I'm going to hit the ball. It was his ball. You're out the hole.
Yeah,
and that
you
was
are.
that. You know what I'm saying?
Got a check. Sorry, one down.
All right, so a great mood here in studio. It's a pity that we have to bring it down a notch and talk cricket.
Yeah, it was pretty poor, wasn't it?
Oh,
Disappointing.
man.
Well, considering
I tipped him last
you beat
week,
South Africa,
but-
that was your best bet of the year. You've never
didn't
seen
say
a bet.
that.
You did.
I wouldn't-
You said they had absolute certainty.
things,
Have
yeah.
as much as you like on them.
And the
Then
week
carry
before,
on.
but the
What
week before he
happened?
tipped Australia. I mean England. The week before he did tip England.
Yeah.
No, I'm out. But they're in trouble now, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
But you know, when I got up there to Kruger and I had a look, and you go to News 24, I'm just
Which way
telling
did you go?
I'm
Free, lazy view, or fusee,
What I'm trying to
whatever
tell
it's
you
called. Yeah.
is that
White River.
when I saw that they were picking 3 uncapped players in a series that was tied 1-1, I thought, gee, that smacks of arrogance. They're actually saying,
Not arrogance. I think desperation.
I don't know about
No,
that.
I'm with Roger.
I don't know. I
I'm
don't
with
know.
Roger.
I reckon they turned around and said, "Okay, we cocked up the last test, right? We won the first
Well,
one
two
easy.
were injured. Two couldn't
Yeah, but
play.
it doesn't matter. You're still picking uncapped players. You would pick then other, guys who'd played and had experience and whatever. But to pick 3 uncapped players is actually saying to you, we've
It's
got
an Australian thing, right? When we can bring our young blood now because
we
we're
can
better
test
than
them
them,
against you. Yeah, and it smacked of that, Gary, didn't it, to you?
I thought so.
Because in a one tied-up series, you wouldn't go for 3 uncapped players. I mean, the guy Jones, the double-barrel name you were telling me, what is it? I forgot.
Jones.
And the double
roller.
other piece?
Jones.
Debutante as well, though.
well,
so-
exactly.
Toby. Called him Toby.
The point
Yeah.
about that is that none of those guys were kicking the door down for selection.
Exactly.
It was because of the other guys who didn't perform.
Correct.
So I don't think it's arrogance necessarily.
No,
I
but-
think they had to make changes.
In a series
And
like
they play
that...
for Middlesex. If you play for Middlesex, you get picked for England regardless.
What are you saying, Brearley and those, Gatting and all those guys?
Oh, absolutely right. There's the old school tie there, mate, I'll tell you that. So if you play for Middlesex, always got a chance of playing for England.
But he did well, didn't he? He made 25 in reasonably quick time. Come out with the ball, he had it
Well,
on the
you were a
string.
bowler. What did you think of him?
Well, I think he suits those conditions. I don't,
Exactly.
to be fair, if you look at the England bowling lineup, they all bowl about in kilometres, about 135, 130.
Say
They're not
85.
express.
Say around about 85.
Yeah, but not all the time. They're not express. But in those conditions, they know it so well, and they bowl the right lengths. I mean, I don't know what happened with the South African batting. I mean, everyone watched it. You can tell stories, and someone's mother had another kid, and she was 80 and it broke a record. I don't know. There's always a story with South Africa, isn't it? There's always a story. I don't know what it is. I got asked. It was funny. Can I say it, Kruger? When I was up there.
Where exactly, Rod? Where did you go?
You sure you paid for this? holiday?
I'm telling you, the people are saying, they
More
ask you a
publicity.
question, everyone says, but what goes wrong with them? Why do they collapse in it? You can't answer that question. I don't know. They play nicely through the year. They'll beat the good sides like Zim and Bangladesh. They'll knock them over. And then they play the stronger sides at home and they'll make them, they'll lose here, but they'll go away and play extremely well. So how do you understand that side?
Look, this test may still get washed out. Maybe
Well,
a
that's your
draw,
only hope,
and they'll
isn't
win
it?
the
I saw
final
5-2
test, and
the
then
draw.
We're going to go back at like...
After rain today after
there's too
tea,
much time,
right the way
Terry.
through.
Yeah,
They
but
said
it
rain's
doesn't
going to
matter.
happen after tea today, correct?
But they don't need a lot to win
They
this.
better not
test.
lose before tea.
No, but
but
you've got 3 days to go, I mean, that's a lot of
So much.
cricket.
I just think that I'm not sure South Africa have recovered from Dale Steyn and AB de Villiers, and I think they're trying to find their way around.
No,
and
fair
they haven't
comment.
found another opener.
Yeah.
Because even what's his name, the guy that opened yesterday, what's it?
Kuhn?
Kuhn, yes.
Yeah.
I thought his shot selection was poor. It wasn't, the wicket was difficult.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be going and hitting balls that are middle and
It was
off.
difficult
and
for
trying to
England.
hit-
Yeah, well, exactly.
How England got
but the shot
350,
select-
I
hold
don't
on.
know.
Because
Well,
the shot
Philander,
selection
to be
was
fair,
good
didn't
and
bowl much
Philander missing
yesterday.
was a problem.
Yeah.
Philander.
The truth is, I thought Cook's innings was world class. He buckled down and he really, really got stuck in difficult conditions.
That's
I thought it was
experience
great
for you as well.
88.
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant. And obviously Stokes was amazing when the chips were down.
He's
And
good
they
all round,
all
that
weighed
guy,
in.
isn't he?
What a match winner, isn't he?
He really is. He's like
But
a Cullis, that
350.
sort of player.
I mean,
Brilliant.
I
I
thought
thought
if we
that
got to
16
250,
Yeah,
I
I
thought
agree.
we'd have done well. I
yeah.
really did.
Yeah. Listen, by the way, I have to apologise to the viewers. You know what he
You
said
better.
last week? We got a complaint about you.
Okay.
Vernon Philander is his name, not Philanderer.
Did you say that?
Oh,
He
yeah.
said it last week, so I'd just like to apologise. Anyone got
I mean, Shane,
upset
poor
last
Vin's
week.
been in the toilet most of the test.
Shame, I hope he comes back. We need him desperately
Yeah.
for the next. I don't know
What's
wrong
up with him, Liam?
Tummy bug.
Stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
what is he going
Oh,
on? I
does
mean,
he
he's had it
look
for a
like a
while.
gastroenterologist?
Probably a
Don't know what he
vinegar.
ate, but
Yeah.
probably your fish and chips, Terry.
Oh, yeah, true.
Spice.
Didn't have the vinegar.
Awful.
How did he expect you?
Is that the trick?
But how do you bet now on a
Exactly,
test
yeah.
like this, Gary?
Yeah.
How do you actually pick out a bet on this test?
Where
you've
would you
got-
go, Gav?
So you've got 270 overs minimum to go in the test, right? And they lost a bit of time. Did they lose time yesterday? I was driving.
They
down.
will
little
lose
bit,
more
yeah.
time.
Okay,
anyway.
so they'll have a bit more extension. So they might have to try and catch up plus minus 290 overs.
Yeah.
So South Africa can't last 290 overs because if they bowl them out this morning, then they're 200 and something in front. So where do you go from there?
You
I mean,
say they're
can't
bat
win.
on? You
You'll
say
bet
they're
on. I don't
into
think
the bat?
I think you'll bet on.
Do you?
Yeah, and I think that he'll get a lead. He'll be up to 400 fairly quickly, and he'll have 2 days that may be interrupted, and to bowl them out. And I think he'll do that. I mean, if you go look at India against Sri Lanka, they led by plenty,
Yeah, it's
and he
game's
went
over.
back.
600
and
And
batted
captains are
again.
reluctant these days to enforce the follow-up.
Exactly.
So they don't want to back
But
They learn
if the
from
weather
Australians.
conditions, Liam, if they're looking forward and say, well, okay, we might lose the third session today, what about the last 2 days? How many overs do we need to bowl them out? Remember, the
I
bowlers
think
are fresh.
England will be in a rush. In other words, whatever lead they get, they
Yes.
would want to bowl on that very quickly.
Exactly.
Because of the conditions.
If the
because of
conditions
weather.
open up this morning overcast like yesterday, why would you not want to bowl? The bowlers have only bowled 10 or 12 overs each. They're not tired.
What happens, what happens if they lead by 230, right? And South Africa get 340.
Yeah.
On this wicket, overcast cloud and everything, 110 could be, you could be under pressure, 3 for 2 or
I
something.
don't think it's drying out as much, so the spinners I don't think will come into play big time. Because of the cloud cover, it will dry out,
It'll take a
but
while,
it's
yeah.
going to take a bit longer and whatever. And I don't think this test, if the weather holds, it's not going to go 5 days. There's no way.
never.
So as a betting guy, Gary, what would you be looking at here? There's multiple bets you can take. It's not just about the result. You can take in-running betting, you can take bowlers.
On
you
every
can take
ball. You
to
can
make
bet when it's going to
50.
finish and everything like that. I think that if I had to look for a bet still in this game, in running with WSB, what would I do? I would bet this game doesn't go 5 days. I'd bet that it finishes in the third session of day 4 or the second session in day 4. That's how quickly I think it will be over.
South Africa lose by more than 200?
They'll definitely lose by more than 200. Definitely. They're going to
the
be
other
two.
Yeah, better than your bat. South Africa.
Yeah, well, I'm disappointed. Oh, listen.
That's an
Best bet of the year,
I
get
didn't
on.
say
It's
best
best
bet
bet of the year. Fill your boots. I saw you.
How did your bets go last week?
Everyone won.
Oh, yeah.
As usual.
Speaking of which, let's get into Gary and Dom's doubles, yeah?
Okay, so this is where we go. I must just say
Here
that
we go again. How did you go last week?
no, I haven't missed one.
Oh.
Mine have won every week, and Dom hasn't had a winner yet.
Ah, there we
I don't know if
are.
I've pointed this out, but you look like a former boy band.
Oh, really?
I said
Yeah.
former boy band.
Oh, wow.
Over?
Wow.
Well,
So-
a boy band is a boy band.
So he's gone for Captain America, who I
Yep.
agree with, and I've gone for a little bit more speculative with the Lions outright. It's 7-1 net double.
Cool,
I
that's not
truly
bad.
believe it's a live 7-1 shot. It really,
That's
really is.
it,
I mean,
that's-
I
what
like
have you got
that.
to lose?
Oh.
You know what I mean? 5,000 to 700. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Off you go.
absolutely. Very nice.
Yeah, I like that. I like it. All right, and as you know, there's plenty competitions on this show. Let's say congratulations to our winner this week of the Techie Town competition, Doug Abbey. Congratulations. And of course, the answer to last week's question was A, Mark Cavendish. All right, that brings us to this week's edition of our competition. So the question, who is the South African men's 200, 300 and 400 meters record holder? Is it A, Simon Mahakwe, B, Bruce Fordyce, or C, Wade van Niekerk? We're just giving things away on this
We
show.
don't
I love
make it easy, because the truth of the matter is Techie Town like to give their shoes away. I mean, some of their prices almost give it away even if you don't win a competition.
Throw some my way.
They fill your boots,
But
basically.
not like them. I want
Rod,
new ones.
Rod went into one in Palabora.
Bora, there's one in Hazy View.
There you go.
Yeah, we have those shoes
I
there.
went to buy these, right?
All
I
those-
went to buy these shoes, sold out.
More marks on them since
well,
you've come back.
They're skids. Yeah.
That's when you walk
Get on
over
an
the leopard.
adventure.
Yeah.
All right, so of
Good
course,
shoes.
a reminder that the competition closes on Monday at 6 p.m. So your answer through to 44472, terms and conditions apply. Good luck. Nice and easy, isn't it? Plenty of conversations that take place in the Kruger. It seems as if more people speak to you there than at home. Yeah.
Well, no one talks to me at home, to be fair, but a few of the game
The
ranges.
leopard whisperer.
No, it's good place up there. You must go. You've never been. You must go, Terry. Why don't you come on a trip?
Oh, thank you.
What?
I've seen a lion, I've seen an elephant.
should
You've
have
seen the big five?
The leopard.
I've seen leopards.
Leopard here, right here. Not here, but
I'm the tree above me.
no. We walked
No,
right
when
across.
I saw one was above me.
That was my
Could you see
tree.
through the fence? When
No,
the zoo?
no, right underneath.
What?
Went with 2 Liverpool players,
Did you?
Kenny Dalglish and Hansen.
Were they impressed?
Proper
Very
Liverpool
impressed.
players as
Yeah,
well.
those are proper.
Big players, eh?
No, we had a leopard right in front of us. Fantastic, brilliant. Can't change it. Life-changing experience, Terry.
What, can't change their spots?
I've got to tell. If you've got 30 seconds, I'll tell you one story. So now we've seen the leopard. It was brilliant. Blah blah blah. So now we're driving up another river road. There's all trees. So now these two chaps don't speak English.
So
right?
like
So
trawlers,
now
Yeah.
they're looking at this and they said they stopped me like they're all clever. Look what we found in the tree. Have you seen the leopard in the tree? No, sorry. Have you seen the cheetah in the tree? I said, guys, I can promise you that's not a cheetah.
A cheetah.
They said, why? I said, well, it's 40 feet up in the air. I don't know if the cheetahs. They may. I don't know about that. But and you know, cheetahs are the only cats that can't retract their claws. Did you know?
Yeah.
that?
They're
I didn't
regarded
know
as the
that.
dog, part of the dog family. I'm telling you now, you got all Sean to check. Cheetahs are regarded as part of the dog
Dog
family.
family, is it?
Sean, check it out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is like a Dover sole swimming around the oceans, isn't it?
What?
Keep going.
Dover sole.
Yeah.
What? I don't even
Comes from
understand.
Dover.
I don't even understand.
It's not a tacky town reference, don't worry.
All right, let's get into our best bets. Gary?
Right, I've done it all in racing. Horse
Yep.
racing, WSB Champions Cup, they deserve it. They're huge sponsors and big supporters of the game. I've gone for the Swinger, 1 and 4, Captain America, and it's my turn. Motor racing, Hungarian Grand Prix. I've gone Lewis Hamilton win at 12-10. Bob Urine promised me that he couldn't win, that he couldn't lose. Promised me that he couldn't lose. Lewis Hamilton.
He's a five-time winner there, a 4-time winner.
That's what Bob told me, that he's
Yeah.
a course and distance
Yeah,
specialist. So
yeah.
I've gone for Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
And then in the track racing, and this isn't a hint for the Techie Town competition, but it is Wade van Niekerk to win the 200 and 400 at the World Championship at 9-10 the double. Certainty.
Very good.
All right.
There we go. Both obvious choices, I think. My heart says I want the Lions to win, but I just got to feel the Hurricanes might.
What's that at the bottom?
Daniel Ricciardo to finish in the top 10.
There's only 10 cars.
Well, he's going to. They got the new downforce stuff. They put
Unless,
on.
yeah,
And he
unless it
actually
drives into a
led-
wall.
He led the practice, so that'll.
That is just...
Liam?
Well, I'm going to go with Dustin Johnson. He's 4 off the pace after 2
He loves
rounds.
Dustin Johnson.
Yeah, at the Canadian Open. The Red Bull did very well in the first qualifying, so I suspect they'll get a spot on the podium, whether it's
Very good.
Ricard or not, we'll see. And then Geordie Barrett, I think, will be on the scoring charts.
Good player, that kid, isn't he?
Yeah.
All right, Terry?
Just Arsenal to beat Benfica and the Hurricanes to beat Lions. Just straightforward double. Play about 6-7 to 1.
Oh, rubbish. Gary, what will that be?
No, you know what happens? He thinks that's funny, and then I get in the car, and the guy phones me up and sends me messages. I phoned WSB, and all they would give me is 5-2, not 7-1. I swear that happened last week. No, you're lucky to get 5-2 there.
Well, 5-2. That's
fair.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, we've got one more race out in Belmont. Let's now take a look at race 3 in Australia.
The favourite, and that's good on you. It's at 4.20 fixed, much better on the tote. $2 better on the tote.
They're backing it too, Marto, into $3.90 from $5. Very well back to 7 here late.
It's won 2 of 22 with 6 minor placings, and one here first up course and distance beating Bella Song after sitting up on the speed by 3/4 of a length. Peter Flynn goes 4, 6, 11 and 2 with his tips as we head to the track.
Waiting for Sophie's Destiny to be positioned. She's backing away as I speak. Meanwhile, Golfing stands well on the inside with Fred zooming. Queen Carly's in the gates, as is Izzy Command. Good on ya. Sophie's Destiny, they lead her up this time. She goes halfway in, backs out. Just waiting for her to go forward. Meanwhile, the jockey on the inside, Horse Golfing, easing out of the saddle there. Denman Dreaming, Error Bore, an 8th chance of the runners to be positioned after Sophie's Destiny comes to the gates. They lead her up again. She goes halfway in. This time they've got her. She walks forward, goes in. Jockey will get back in the saddle. Erebor will come up to the outside. Waiting now for Denman Dreaming to go in, and 8 chance will be the last runner to be positioned. Best field of the day, 11 runners, very open race the last. The attendants go down to get 8 chance. Meanwhile, Golfing stands well on the inside. Izzy Command there with Fred. Queen Carly standing well. They wait for 8 chance to come up. 8 chance goes in. They're in and standing for the running of the last. We'll just wait for the red light to blink away, and it does now. They'll go quickly in this. Golfing well, stands well on the inside. Bit of movement in the centre. Attendants just getting in with 1 runner there. Izzy Command stands well. Fred standing well towards the inside. Erebor on the outside. Starter just holds them. Let's look at the front of the line there for some issue. Now they're racing, and Fred got out well from the centre, showing pace too as Izzy Command, and Denman Dreaming up in the forward division. Booting through along the inside would have been Golfing. Fred drops to 4th around the outside. Good on you, followed then by Zooming. Queen Carly along the inside with Erebor getting across to be 1 off the fence. 8th chance goes back towards the tail of the field. Back there with it at this stage would have been Sophie's Destiny. As they walk towards the 600, and Denman Dreaming with a wing on every hoof races away. Leads by 3 or 4 lengths. Over on the inside as Izzy Command, followed then by Golfing. Fred getting to the outside with Good On Ya, and also Zooming starting to move into it with a long gap back to Queen Carly. Erebor a long way back with 8th chance, and back towards the tail of the field. George's Jet, and just in front of it is Sophie's Destiny. Denman Dreaming coming back to them. Good On Ya, the first challenger. Zooming the second challenger, and Izzy Command up along the inside. But Good On Ya loves this track. He sprints to the lead. He's going to race away, Good On Ya, and win. Will he win the prize money? I'm not sure. Good On Ya's won by 5 lengths to Zooming, but Queen Carly's run third.
And now the line will be completed by Harlem Moon, and they'll be right to go in this Heineken 3 handicap. Harlem Moon makes its way up there towards the gates, and she heads on in there. Light going on. Racing Harlem Moon, a little sluggish out of the gates. First to leave Kirov Boy from the Forgotten One, Shintamani. Northridge going up there. No one really anxious to take up that role of pacemaker though, and they're all just ripping and tearing here on top of the speed down to the 200 the first time around. Fontaine's War coming over. Harlem Moon settled on the inside of It's a Him, and the favourite dropping right back there last of all, Rosewood Hill in the early stages for Pike. And so as they just walk on by the judge, and down on the inside, Shintamani in front by a head, really reefing for more rain there, but held together by Whiting at this stage over the crossing. Shintamani, she led by a length. Northridge is second, Respondent third down near the inside from the Forgotten One, just going up now, taking a little closer order. Almost a length and a half away to Kirov Boy, who was able to park back off the speed there, didn't go up and attack for the front like he normally would. Over on the inside then Harlem Moon, Fontaine's War around It's a Him, and spotting them all is the favourite going down the back, Rosewood Hill, 6 from the leader. Going out by the 1250, and Shintamani now draws clear for Whiting, and she's opened up that lead to a length and a half on the Forgotten One. Down on the inside running third, Northridge. Then came Fontaine's War, who's out there 3 deep working the long shot. Kirov Boy is back in the middle running 5th at the 1,000 metres mark, with Respondent saving ground down near the rail. The grey It's a Him is next, Harlem Moon, and Pike is biding his time back there, sitting as quiet as a church mouse on the odds-on favourite, Rosewood Hill. Still 6 off the lead. At the 750, Shintamani, the Viscount mare, took them down the side of the track. It's Shintamani making play by 3/4 to a length over the Forgotten One, followed by Northridge, Kirov Boy. Then came Respondent, Fontaine's War calling it quits. It's a Him. Now Pike's going to look for the short way home here, with Rosewood Hill just trying to negotiate his way through the field. Still about 5 or 6 lengths though from the 2 in front coming around the turn, and Harlem Moon pulling up to a walk. They're in the home straight. Shintamani led the Forgotten One, 3 lengths Responded. Rosewood Hill, Pike spotting, runs over towards the inside. Look at her come, 200 left to go, and she's got a head full of steam, and It's a Him's coming down the outside, but Rosewood Hill gather them up now, storming to the front. This has been a cagey, cool, confident ride by Pike on the favourite, and she dominated and she won it easily. Rosewood Hill from It's a Him, Shintamani third, Northridge ran fourth, then the Forgotten One, who tied late then.
Good morning so far, hasn't it? So just a reminder of all of the excitement to come in the world of poker, Gary.
Yeah, and now people got no excuse not to enter after Dom gave them a double that arrived.
Yeah.
Take the money that you want,
state money.
send it straight to Empress Palace. We'll keep it for you, and you're into the main event. How's that? Dom the Bomber double again.
Unbelievable.
He's going to be waiting at my car. I can guarantee. If they can film this, Dom will be standing at my car waiting for something. I'll guarantee you. You know. Yeah.
Great. And now you've got your money as well to start booking
Exactly.
your accommodation in Graceland.
Exactly, and that they can do. And now you take that double off, you go Captain America and the Lions to win, 7-1. Whatever you've won, you put a little bit on there. And if that wins, you get 20% extra from WSB.
Jeez,
they're just throwing money at people.
Absolutely right.
You know, they don't throw money at us as people on the show, but I mean, everywhere else they throw money.
All right, yeah, so just a reminder as well about our EPL Predictor competition. So very easy. Well, is it easy?
Well, it's not easy, but you know, I mean, when you have a let's just say, look at last year where they finished. If you're talking about the top 6, realistically, there's only 6. So you've got a 6-horse race, and you've got to place them in a correct order. Not easy, but
it's free.
But it's free.
So every time you take a bet,
every time you get a bet, you get a free.
Every time you spend a certain amount of money with WSB, they give you a free entry into it. And I believe from Rayner that before the day they launched, at about 500 entries.
I'm sure.
It's going to be a huge competition. It's going to be fantastic. You should get this, Carol. You're the first lady of
I
sport.
think so. I think so. All right, so it's very easy. Just go to wsb.co.za and you click on the EPL Predictor button. Remember your predictions. You enter your predictions for free. 1 entry only per person. All right, I wanted us to talk about West Ham as well. Just a very quick one. Just talking about the predictions. And I don't know, I think West Ham is they're looking to finish in the top 6 this season.
Well, no, I mean, I think that's. I think they are an improver. That's for sure. I think they brought players in, have got plenty of experience. But I do expect them to improve on last season. I think it was a poor season at one side. It looked as if it could be in the relegation battle, but they pulled clear of that, like a lot of other teams did. Or much of a muchness that finished right in the middle of the... And Southampton, my team, were one of those as well. And finished, I think, 8th it was. But yeah, from what they brought on board, there should be an improvement. I don't see them making a top 6, but they'd probably be in that little group that just finishes just below.
Just outside. All right.
Can I say one thing? If the Lions win today, not only this entire team and partners, I'm also going to take 20 kids to the game.
Oh,
20
wow.
underprivileged kids if the Lions win today.
Are they the ones you don't know about, Gary?
Believe me, they come from my bloodline. They really underprivileged.
You also have to be clear about what this means, because the Golden Lions are playing in a Currie Cup.
No, not the Currie Cup.
So
the Lions have to play the final of
specify.
Super Rugby at Ellis Park next week. I will take the kids as well as the team to the rugby.
All right, we like that. And Terry, you're going to come along as well.
Yes.
And I'll give up my ticket that you would have bought, because I'll be in the media centre.
Thank
So
you
you
so
can,
much.
can use my
There's
ticket.
one there.
You're a champion.
Well done.
We all come into the media centre. I tell you that.
Thank you all so much for joining us. Lots of excitement. It's such a busy weekend of sporting action. And, of course, it all starts a little bit later on this morning, right, with the first semi-final. I'm going to be at the football. I'm at the Carling Black Label Cup, the Soweto Derby, sold out. So a lot of excitement there as well. Thank you so much for joining us, Alistair. Hope you're doing well out there on the course, working on his swing. But, of course, Greyville is where it's all happening later on today. From myself, Simply Carol, and the team, till next week, it's goodbye.